Hello and welcome to Columbus Local Podcast. I'm Len D'Amico and this is episode 114. And today we have Chris Mills.
Hi.
Hi, Chris.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, I'm so happy we got it aligned. You've been evasive in a way that, we solved today.
I guess, yeah. I'm here.
Chris was telling me he felt like he was going to the principal's office.
Yeah.
He was nervous.
Job interview.
Dude, I'm the nervous
I
one.
feel like I'm in court or something.
I'm with one of the giants among us in Columbus, Ohio, music.
Where's he at?
Who?
Who are you talking about? Me?
Oh, you, Chris Mills. Chris, what do you perform in Columbus? I know you as a bass player.
Yeah. I play bass. I sing a little.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And today we also in the Neal Peanut Gallery, the official Neal Peanut Gallery, we have the one and only Tiffany Bumgardner.
Hi, everybody.
And she gets some credit for, encouraging Chris to come and do a podcast episode, and I love it. And I'm glad that you're part of the Peanut Gallery
She
too.
bullied me into this.
I bullied him. I totally did. I threatened him.
It was all...
Threatened his life and his family.
Yeah.
All that. But he's here.
I'm here.
And you're Chris Mills, bass player, Columbus, Ohio.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Chris, what all are you involved in today?
Today, I got 3 different projects going on. I got rock, paper, scissors, and play bass and sing in that one.
What kind of music are we talking?
That's more probably 80s, 90s alt rock. Some newer stuff too, and me and the guitar player take turns singing.
That's nice.
It's just a 3-piece.
Yeah.
And I got another project with Jason Levitt and Alan Kennedy called Black Rebel Revival. And we're just doing a handful of gigs for fun. And same kind of situation, more classic rock type of stuff. Same thing, we take turns singing and stuff. So that's been a fun little gig. And the last one just kind of started not too long ago. It's called Brohio. And
did you say Brohio?
Brohio, yeah. I didn't, it's all good.
It's all good. So what's that about?
It's a little bit kind of the same, kind of 80s, 90s rock. Just kind of started maybe not even 6 months ago, so we're not really out of the gate yet. We got a gig coming up at the end of June, so I'm
how many piece?
That one is a 4-piece. And 2 guitars, and then there's 3 singers. And I'm one of them.
Oh, cool.
So it kind of gives us a little versatility on what we're doing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell us who you're working with there, or is it too early?
The one guitar player and singer is Keith Jenkins. The other guy is John Bobo, who was in The Slang. I don't know if anybody remembers them or not, but I liked him. I thought he was cool.
Yeah.
And the drummer is known as Drummer Steve. I don't know anything else about him. So he's
sounds cool.
So I mean, if that's what he wants to go by, that's who he is. So, but yeah, it's those are the 3 things going on now.
And you're playing bass and singing in all 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, good deal. Do you perform any other instruments?
Played drums. I started out on drums a long time ago. And then switched over to bass probably 15 years ago, maybe. And I played a little guitar, but I know about 3 power chords. that's about it.
Well,
3 chords.
Some of the music you play,
that's all you need, right? 3 chords.
I know. And the truth.
Right.
The 4th.
Right.
Are you self-taught bass player or what?
I pretty much. I started in high school, played in a jazz band, and I kind of taught myself. Made my own tablature up so I could fake it.
Oh, wow.
But,
That's cool.
So, yeah, just self-taught. Same thing with the drums. When I played drums, my uncle was a drummer, so that's kind of, I learned by watching him. I didn't really take any lessons, but I just kind of watched him, and then he gave me a bunch of records, and I just sat down and played with them, figured it out.
Damn.
Yeah.
I know there's only 8 notes, right? Well, with flats and
Right,
whatever.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I know, but there's a whole lot of music that comes out of that. It's pretty wild.
Yep.
When you play, do you find yourself? You strike me as a feel player. I mean, you're definitely driving the bus of the songs as a good bass player would do. But I mean, you're definitely in tune to what's happening. Is that accurate observation? Or?
Yeah. I'm all about feel. I don't play everything exact. I know some people do, but I'm more about making it, like you said, kind of drive. I want to make it groove, make it feel good, and I think that's more important than playing all the notes right.
Yeah, the groove is where it's at. I agree.
And I think it comes across to
especially
people too.
live,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean it's cool if you can play all those notes, but I think it's cooler if you can hold it down.
Just hold it down.
And then maybe once in a while throw in some, so you go, oh, that was cool.
Less is more.
And I like when drummers only play with a 4-piece kit. I think that's really cool, because if you can do a lot with a little 4-piece kit, that's more impressive than big giant.
Well, they know what they're
drum
doing.
kits. Yeah.
I know there's a
make it
couple
work.
guys out there doing that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you have favorite local drummers?
Man, I don't know. I always liked John Homan.
Oh God, yes.
And he's I played a couple of gigs with Saddleback Shark back in the day.
Oh, sweet.
And I actually played his drum kit, and he had the big rack and a million cymbals and whatever. And
He's such a force,
I
man.
played his kit one night, and his snare drum was like up in my chest. It was too high, and I couldn't reach the cymbals. So I was like throwing punches at the cymbals, trying to hit him and stuff. And he was playing one night in Grove City, and I looked outside. He was out of the window looking at me, like making fun of me and stuff. And I'm like, dude, you can play the giant kit. What do you expect? I'm just, I'm not that big of a dude, But yeah, I always like John. John's good. There's good drummers.
Oh yeah,
Jason Levitt's good. Yeah, there's Lars is good. I always liked Lars playing.
Yeah, and his kit is typically that
small
3-piecer.
Yeah, big bass drum.
Ish. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh man, when and I have recently started playing bass, and I'm loving it. I'm involved in a couple of bands in Columbus, and we're having gigs and we're having a lot of fun. And to me, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And I've worked with a couple of drummers, believe it or not, a couple of different ones, and it's so fun to adapt to each partner. Mm-hmm. And I look at every drummer as a partner. Mm-hmm. Do you find, are you the type of bass player that's gonna adapt as you're moving? What's your style in regard to, working with a drummer?
I always say my superpower is that I can lock in with just about anybody, and I think having the drumming background helps me, and I do play as if I think of playing bass like I'm playing a drum kit, so I can kind of predict, or at least
how it's going to go,
where I want it to go. Don't always happen, but yeah, I think that's one of the things that I can bring to the table, is that I can lock in pretty much with anybody, even anybody.
Yeah,
I'll just
anyone.
Say that. I'll just say that.
Anyone. Yeah, absolutely. And that's good. And I always like to talk about the dance with a drummer. Mm-hmm. I think of it as a dance, and feeling that the tension mm-hmm. of the play. Mm-hmm. And so for you, is that something that you look for and use, and how do you use that tension?
Yeah, I like in the radio Tramps, me and Kyle locked in. Kyle was a machine and played everything exactly the same way every time, and he didn't have to think about it. And there was times where he would do something, I would catch it. I would catch it, and then we just kind of and look at each other, and then we got it. But that was fun too, because again, I can kind of tell where it's going. So
Right on.
it was fun. Yeah, it was good.
And Radio Tramps had such a great run, man. It was good stuff.
all right.
We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk a little. Look at the peanut galleries going crazy over here. The arms are flying and
I'm
everything.
being quiet.
We'll talk about Radio Tramps. It was a great. That was, and maybe we should. Well, I don't know what. I want to maybe talk about your inspirations that drove, and Radio Tramps, I think, is a big part of your story, Chris.
Sure.
But I know there's a lot of others too, and there's some fun road stories along the way, perhaps that you might want to share.
I had a cool
with our listeners.
I had a cool tooth story once. But somebody told that one already.
You can tell in your version from your side of the stage.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, I've been around. I've seen some things.
Yeah, I know. You know, Columbus music is special. It is.
Yeah.
And you said earlier that you started as a drummer. You know, how long ago how old were you, and like how'd that come about? How did music begin?
Music began. Jeez.
For you?
I mean, as an inspiration, Elvis. My mom was a big Elvis fan, so it was always around. So I always got into that, the whole show, you know, 70s Elvis. And so that's kind of where that started. I started playing in the band in like 5th grade. Played saxophone and through high school and played all kinds of stuff or whatever. But I think, you know, here locally, I think I started playing in bars in 90 or 91. I was a senior in high school. So I was doing that
In Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was early 90s. Started playing around town.
What was the first venue?
Oh, my God. First venue I played, I can't remember the name of the bar. It turned into a strip bar at some point. I want to say it was like it was before it was, I want to say it was the Platinum Fox. It was on the east side of Columbus. But it was before that. I don't remember what it was called, but yeah, it was just a dive bar.
On the east side?
On the east side, yeah.
I got you. Not the Silent Woman, was it?
No. No, this was on like Hamilton Road.
Yeah.
By the Eastland Mall there, but I think that was the first venue, and then it was like Strutters, and I think it was called East Rock. It was on Hamilton Road. I started playing those places. Yeah, it was. Yeah, so that's when it started.
Good stuff. And were they all covers?
We did both. I think 50-50.
That's cool.
And you know, we do Kiss and LA Guns and stuff like that back then. And,
stuff that you just want to rock out
and
on.
then the original stuff was similar, so kind of nobody knew. They were like, "What song's that?" Yeah, they don't care. But yeah, it's about the same. It's 50-50, those kinds of bands. So
Pretty sweet.
yeah, it's all right. It's fun.
Yeah. So do you remember where you headed after that?
Yeah, well, that was, man, there's so much.
Oh, you went, so yeah, the plethora of bands.
So, I mean, you know, as a young person trying to find their way, you know,
Right.
you end up quitting, then coming back, then quitting again and going back. But I think after that was, ended up in Akron and Cleveland, playing in a band up there. And did that for a while. I was living here, but I was going up there to play all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was...
Commute.
And that was the glam rock stuff. We were still holding the torch for the glam rock stuff, even in 91, and grunge and stuff started coming in. So we were still dressing up and did the black hair and the eyeliner and looked like linebackers and drag. Yeah, it was weird. But did that for a while. Come back to Columbus and played in a couple bands. Never really got very far. Played a couple gigs and whatever, and after that I ended up in Cincinnati, of all places. Played in a band down there for a while, and what was after that? I think after that was Cincinnati, and we got a little independent record deal down there, and did some stuff with that. Played some shows with Ron Keel and It was the
That's a big name out of
he
here.
was on the same label as Ron Keel. He was doing the country stuff then. But yeah, so then Cincinnati, come back, and then I think that was about the time I joined the Vague.
Oh,
So yeah,
sweet.
I was, for a couple of years I was up and down 71 for a while. So just trying to find my way.
One foot on one camp and one foot on the other.
Yeah.
I gotcha. The Vague. That's a
Yeah.
band name for, I mean, was it Campus? I would see that
Chuck
paper-
Oney.
that-
Chuck Oney.
but the Vague would always have, I think, paper posters on the telephone poles all
Oh,
over
yeah,
the
for
place.
sure.
I'd
Yeah.
see that all over the place and
Yeah.
be like, wow.
The old school promotion there.
Oh yeah.
Staple
Maybe
gun.
it was,
Yeah.
maybe, but yeah, Chuck Oney. So did you meet Chuck, and then that happened? How'd that? Do you remember how that
Yeah,
occurred?
I was playing in Akron one night, and we was opening up for Enough's Enough at a place there in Akron, and Chuck and Scott Carr was there. They came up to see them, of course, and we had a song that started very similar to an old Oney song. So once we started playing it, I looked out, and they kind of looked at each other like, "What the hell?" And I'm like, "Oh no, they think we ripped them off or something, But so when they were looking for a drummer, they remembered me and Scott.
He could play our tune, man.
Yeah. And I don't know who reached out to me, if it was Scott or if it was Chuck. I don't remember. There's a lot of blurry times in the 90s. And,
Yeah, but you hooked up with these guys, and
So,
you
yeah.
started playing with the Vague with those guys.
Yeah.
In the '90s.
Yeah, that was late 90s.
Where were you guys playing in Columbus?
We
Was it
played
Andy Mann's?
Andy Mann's and what's the one on North High Street?
Stashes.
No. Yeah, I did play there. Little Brothers.
Chelsea's.
Chelsea's I played. What was the other one? The one on, it's the Space Bar now?
Oldfields.
Oldfields.
on High,
Yeah, we
yeah.
played there quite a bit.
That's
But,
cool.
Yeah,
the
it was,
Vague.
It was fun. I actually replaced their drummer was Kyle Virgin, who was the drummer for Radio Tramps. So I replaced him, and then when I left, he replaced me.
No, really?
Yeah. and then in Radio Tramps, I wasn't the first bass player, and that bass player used to be in the Vague as well.
Yeah, Jamie.
Oh.
So I replaced Jamie.
You guys all traded
I said,
traded
"Man,"
around.
I said, I'm tired of replacing you guys from the Vague, man. But that was a good time. That was fun. I like the Vague. I like Chuck, Scott, all those guys.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, everyone from Radio Tramps was from the Vague.
a part of the Vague
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
one point or the other.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So was that when you? Where'd you go from the Vague? Do you remember?
From the Vague.
A couple other
Um,
swap arounds.
yeah, I kind of just played around. I eventually found a band in Atlanta, Georgia, that was looking for a drummer, and so I contacted them, and they were breaking up by the time I got a hold of them. And they go, "Well, we're starting another band with so and so, blah blah blah." And I said, "All right," and which is one of my stories I told you earlier, which I can tell.
Oh, good.
But I went down to Atlanta and played with a band down there for a while, and for about a year or so. And quick, one of my almost moments. It's kind of I'll try to keep it brief. But
You don't. There's no
so-
time limit, dude.
so the drummer I replaced in that band down in Atlanta, he left and I joined, and I was sleeping on the singer's couch for a while, and was trying to find a job down there in Atlanta. And I think I wore out my welcome there on his couch because he had 2 female roommates, and
Dude.
I think I was harshing his whole thing. So I ended up
Did anything bad happen?
no.
Okay, that you can talk about anyway.
No. Yeah. But yeah, so I did. So I ended up leaving.
That's always a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
you know
Your
that.
daughters are listening.
Oh yeah. Nothing happened. We went to church on Sunday, and
And that was it.
that was it.
Nice job.
But no, I ended up going to. I knew a gal in Biloxi, Mississippi. So
Nice.
I went to Biloxi and was staying there, and just dating her, seeing her, and then on the weekends I'd go back out to Atlanta and work with those guys, and so that went on for a while. I couldn't find any work, in Atlanta, and it's expensive to live there. So they ended up giving me the, hey, we might keep using the old drummer to write stuff while you're not here.
Dude.
You know? And I'm like, okay. And he goes, is that all right with you? And I'm like, what do I do here? You know, do I say, no, I'm the drummer, I'm going to be the dude? Or I go, whatever you want to do so I can be in the band, you know? So
That's a tough spot to be
It
in.
is.
I don't know that I could do that.
it was hard, and I made the wrong decision. I said, well, whatever you guys want to do, man, you know,
Right.
we'll work it out. And they're like, oh, we really hoping you would, you know,
Be accommodating.
yeah. And I'm
to
like,
them.
So yeah, they let me go, and I'm like, son of a, you know. So I was a little bitter about that. But
Well, circumstance.
and so they had their old drummer come back, and they were recording a demo, and caught the ear of Rachel Bolan from Skid Row. So he ends up producing their CD.
Gut punch.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
So they produced the CD. Rachel Bolan produces the CD, and then you know, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. You know, I've been cool to hang out with that guy, and that band eventually breaks up.
I see.
So they split up shortly after they released that, and then right around that time, Skid Row needed a drummer, and he remembered that guy. Pulled him in.
Yeah.
He's still playing with them today.
Really?
Yeah, and this was early 2000s. So
I got you, man.
So now I'm like, I could have, if I would have stayed, if I would have made the right decision, I might have been in Skid Row right now, you know? But it didn't happen, so it is what it is.
It is what it is, but it's the you never know.
Yeah. I call it I call them almost moments, you know?
It's a pretty sweet story though, man.
It's yeah. But, you know, like I was telling Tiffany earlier, it's like, it's you know, things happen for a reason. So maybe I wasn't supposed to be there. So
Right.
I have to hold on to that and say that's the reason. There was something greater that
John Holman's kid will be in Columbus,
Yeah.
Ohio one day for you, right?
Yeah,
Kind of thing,
you know.
right? That kind of deal. I get it, man. No, that's an awesome story, though. Jeez.
I don't know. I'm like, man, I could be in Skid Row. I don't know how lucrative that would be nowadays, but it'd be good to say. You know?
I always feel like we're like human amoebas, and we go where it feels good. You know, you're gonna hang out with people you feel good with, but you're not. But you're gonna stay away from the ones that are like ouchy. You know, and I really honestly think that you end up with similar minded amoebas, and you're having a great time all the fucking time, like all the time.
The non-ouchies.
And there's no ouchies.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like I feel that way with my mate currently. You know, there's no ouchies for.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been together 5 years. That's a long. I mean, in today's day and age, it's a long time, and we're fortunate. I mean, in our age bracket too, that we did that. And I guess looking at things that way, I feel like your amoeba existence, felt the positiveness of that possibility.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Could come again, man.
I don't know. It's probably too late for
No,
that. It's,
it's never too
What are you
late.
doing?
We're getting something from
was that?
some. There's an incoming
I
message.
got
No,
what? What about him?
nothing.
Something happened.
No. I don't know. I know what you're saying.
You can say it out loud. Oh, she knows. She knows everything's cool. Everything's cool. It's all cool.
She's giving me sign language. I don't know what she's
I
saying.
know.
I'm like, what am I not supposed to say?
Nothing.
All right. Jeez. Anyway, so
These guys you can tell they're best of friends, man. I love to see this. I do. I love it. Subliminal communication amongst friends.
yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
so you had all that going on in Atlanta.
So I ended up, because that kind of fell through, I went back to Biloxi and I started playing with another band there, and then stayed there for a year, and then had my first daughter, Edie, down there.
Oh, and Edie's tattooed on one of your hands.
Yeah.
Her name.
Yep. And Lily's on the other.
I see.
Lily came 2 years later.
2 years later.
Yeah.
In Alabama.
No, they after finally left that Biloxi and stuff, came back to Columbus, and then she followed with the kid.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Lily came a year later, 2 years
Aw.
later. So you know, whatever, you know, like I said, things happen for a reason. So
And you have these
maybe
beautiful people in
that's
your
what I'm
life,
saying.
right?
I didn't get the Skid Row gig, but you know, something brought me back home, and now I got
Edie
kids.
and Lily.
Yeah, Edie and Lily, and
That's beautiful.
so that's what I'm supposed to be, I guess. Be dad.
Beautiful.
I still play, you know, I'm still playing music and stuff. I still do what I do, you know. Some people, you know, go fishing. I play music, you know. So
I know what you mean.
so yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It's very awesome. So you came back to Columbus, you started a family, but you were able to weave music in your life
Yeah.
and picked up where
It was
musically.
It was a rough time. It was a rough time.
Is this
I ain't gonna lie.
in the 2000s-ish?
Yeah, 2005.
I could feel
4?
you. Those were weird years for me,
4,
too.
yeah. So 2004, because Edie was born. Yeah, so it was 2005 when we came back up here. But yeah, so I came up and tried to find gigs and do stuff. So I was still playing drums. Then my buddy, who is a drummer, his band was looking for a bass player. He knew I played in high school. He goes, "Hey, we need a bass player. You want to play?" And I go, "Yeah, sure." So that's what started all that stuff. And then I found out I can keep getting gigs as a bass player rather than drums. So that's where it led me. So been doing that ever since. So
Yeah, you've been doing it ever since.
Yeah.
When you started doing that with as a bass player, were you like hammering through a bunch of bands, or do you remember some of the bands that you were they just very 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 local,
yeah.
or did you
Yeah.
hit one of the bigger bands in town immediately? How did it work for you?
No. I think I played in a band in Lancaster for a little bit, and then just kind of bounced around.
So
Again, I was
Orange Carpet Lounge and some of these other places. I mean,
Yeah.
I've played,
Cat's
dude.
Pizza
I
Place.
have played a lot of those
Yeah.
myself. I mean, and it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
but yeah, just
Different size clubs though than what you're accustomed in
Wow.
this town,
yeah,
Worcester.
yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, so
it's different.
did that just kind of just bouncing around, trying to find my way.
Yeah.
I always seem to be trying to find my way. So yeah, and
Nothing
then-
wrong with growing,
then-
man.
Then ended up playing with Scott Carr again in another band. So that's kind of kept in contact with him, and we started playing. And I've played with Scott off and on for 30 something more years. I mean, it's been a long time, just as a drummer and a bass player.
Yeah.
And then me and him played in a couple bands, and never kind of, we played some gigs and did some stuff, but nothing, nothing crazy,
Right.
And then it wasn't until Radio Tramps then started playing with those guys, because I was just there. I was
You were
there.
just
I'm
where?
a bass player. I was there. He knew
That
me.
is not true.
So they go, well, what about this? What about this guy? So
You were auditioned.
nah.
Yeah, I think so.
No,
They knew you.
I don't know.
Well, Scott knew. Scott knew
Scott
you.
knew.
Right?
I don't audition.
He kind of had an in, right, with Scott.
We vibed right away.
Well, okay, so was Radio Tramps then the inception of that? Your involvement, was that like the first kind of biggish kind of
Yeah.
band? You
Yeah.
guys, was it the beginning of Radio Tramps then? And Tiffany, you talked about that on your that was a great 10+ year run in Columbus. Recognized as
12
one of the
years.
top bands in town, right? Rock cover bands. How did you knew Scott, and they were looking for someone to play bass in this project? Was it active at the time, or you guys just started
You
it
guys
up?
were playing, right?
Yeah, but like not a ton. But we did like a promo video at Lazy. We did like Quaker Steak and like
That's big stuff. I mean,
your first gig was at Turtle Creek Tavern for our St. Patrick's Day show.
dude,
yeah.
talk about like debut venue, right? Like an event.
Yeah, I feel like there
That was a
wasn't
good
like a
gig.
ton of bands at that time. Maybe there was, but I don't know. But that was your first gig, and that was a pretty high profile gig at the time.
Oh yeah, I had to
so
learn a lot of songs for that gig.
You were really nervous, but
Yeah.
you knocked it out of the park, Chris Mills.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I did all right.
Well, Chris came in.
Did you come in as the drummer or the, the bass player?
Just bass player.
Okay.
Every gig, I said they're gonna fire me. I know it.
He said that for like 10 years.
I'm the new guy.
Dude, you're a pretty
them-
solid bass player, if I
I'd
remember
totally-
correctly,
I'd
right?
see
Like
them
you're
over
like
there.
doing this shit in your sleep kind of guy.
Well, I can do it now, but then it's as soon as the gig would be over, and I'd see her and Scott talking. I'm like, oh, that's it. I'm over. It's over.
I know.
I'm done.
I get
Oh,
paranoid
stop.
too. Well, and I'm open-minded though. Like I always say, look, when you find someone you really, really want, it's cool. I'm okay with advancement,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to feel bad if I'm not keeping up. You
Right.
know, go do your thing.
Yeah.
It should be that way.
Right.
Well, then, Radio Tramps went on, and then we figured out Chris could sing very, very well. So we added more songs to sing.
God.
And I love harmonizing and singing with Chris. Like, our voices mesh well so together. We can, like, kind of just look at each other and know what direction
Where
we're
you're
going.
going.
Yeah. And I think he added this really special layer to Radio Tramps with his bass playing, of course, but with the vocals. I mean, your vocals are
Yeah.
great.
All right.
They're great.
I can get by.
His Eddie Money.
It was that was a fun band.
It was a good.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I enjoyed it.
It was one I'd like to go to.
And the stuff that we were doing. I mean, that's the stuff that when I started listening to music, outside of Elvis and stuff, it was all the same stuff that I liked. So I enjoyed playing it. I enjoyed, the people I was with, because you don't always find it that you can get along with everybody.
Right.
But I was a fan of, Scott and Kyle was in Oni and then the Beg and stuff. So I was a fan of Kyle's already too. So I just had to deal with this one and figure her out.
You infamously hate singers, Chris.
I do.
You do. He infamously hates
I
singers.
know, but you would think
get along with
that
them.
she would be very easygoing and, kind of go with the flow kind of person. But then you kind of get to know Tiffany and you realize that you made a mistake in your assumptions.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
No, I'm neurotic. You're more neurotic than I am.
Who? Me?
You are. Yes.
Wow.
We might be equal parts neurotic.
Wow.
I think with her things she says things that nobody else seemed to catch, and
It's so awesome.
and it would
about Tiffany.
it would
It's just
happen,
like-
and I would just start laughing. I'm like, what? And then nobody else is laughing. I'm like, does nobody hear what she just said?
I hear everything she says.
she goes,
like one
"What?"
knee most of the time.
Yeah. Then she gets all like weirded out. Like, what?
Laughing.
But that was kind of, I think I just her, I don't know, her personality or whatever
She's special.
that.
She's a special She's a
Yeah.
special human.
And I kind of locked into it, and she would just make me laugh, and I'm like, God, nobody else. It just, and when she was on your podcast, and she says, "Oh, I love Tooth Stories,"
Yeah.
I literally laughed out loud. I was at work listening to it, and I'm like, and you just went right past it and started telling stories, and I'm like, nobody caught that she said, "Oh, I love Tooth Stories." Who says I love Tooth Stories? That's weird.
Well, now they're doing 2-story segments on the podcast, so apparently.
Yeah. So.
I'm always trying to get a good tooth story for Tiffany Bumgardner, and there have been a couple.
Yeah.
I love playing with Chris so much because we would have and then we would, the tooth story thing it goes into that, him and I would just zone in to each other, and we would find people in the audience doing really crazy shit, and I'd be like, look at Chris. And he'd be like,
Red
yeah,
dress,
I see
red
it.
dress,
Yeah. We
red
wouldn't have
dress.
to do that. We wouldn't even have to do that. We would just lock eyes and we would know exactly what we're looking at with the
like,
crazy
I can
stuff.
see in her eyes, do you see that? And I'm like, yep, I see it.
I love
Cole's dance party, Chris.
I love when that crap happened. That happened to me last Friday at a gig with because we record all of our gigs, and I listened to the part of the recording, and one part I was like, I screwed up the bass line. I overplayed. I try not to do that, but I did too much of an ending because some girl she was flashing me, and it distracted me, and I went off course, of course. And my drummer called me out. He called me out on it. He's like, dude, you got to fix that ending of that song. I'm like, here's what happened. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I go, I'm taking responsibility.
Yeah.
And I listened to it myself, and I said, oh, that's when that person flashed me.
Yeah.
And he understood.
Yeah.
So I got a hall
That's
pass that time.
understandable.
I got a hall pass.
Hey, there was
But those things happen, right?
there was a time we were playing, and she looked at me and she points out to the crowd to this girl, and I go like, what? And I look down, and then she pulled him out, and she pointed
The
it
one
out for
time,
me.
like that happened like 100
I love when that
times.
happens, though. I mean, I don't mind that at all.
Yeah. No, it's a perk. It's a benefit.
It can be.
It's a benefit.
It can be.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
I would spot it before you would most of the time.
Yeah.
Chris,
Well, you know,
look.
I'm busy performing.
Oh,
and
sorry.
You're goofing
Just
off.
goofing off over there.
Dancing like a Muppet.
Muppet. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
So you guys, what's the funniest thing that happened when you guys were working together in Radio Tramps?
There was a lot of them, but I mean, I think that tooth story was probably the.
That
Oh no, that Halloween party. That was a bad one too.
Yeah.
Bad? How so?
That was on video.
Yeah, we get that on video. Yeah, she was drunk, and I don't know if she was dancing or what was going on, but she fell.
She broke a mic stand, and like we used to have these TVs that were up on like these poles, and she like fell. She like broke the whole thing. We had to like shut down for a minute, didn't we?
No, I kept singing.
Oh no, not that. After the song though.
Oh,
We had
after, yeah.
yeah, we did kept.
Yeah, she fell down, and Scott caught the microphone stand, and it just broke in half, and he's standing there with one hand here and the other hand playing guitar, just holding it broken. And I want to rock and roll.
Was that what we were playing?
Yeah. I just kept on going. Show them what's going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There was a few of those.
Yeah, there was a few of those, and that girl's face hit the floor.
Well, tell the
hard.
tooth story from your perspective.
Yeah. So what happened? What happened? You were at a gig. You're playing. You're rocking out. You're having fun.
I don't remember. I think it was one of those
Just
things.
when I needed. That's what
Was
we're
it?
playing.
The car-
Yeah.
Yeah, one of
The
those
car
things.
song.
She just looked at me, and I looked at her, and she looked out, and then she hit the ground.
It was What I Like About You, and she
Oh.
was twerking, and one of our friends bumped her,
Oh.
and she went forward, and the tooth.
And she fell. And she fell, or she hit her. What happened?
Well, she didn't even put her hands up to.
Face plant.
Yeah. Oh, it was just face, boom.
Yeah, that
Tooth went
sucks.
flying.
Tooth went flying.
Yeah, and I caught his attention. I didn't know if he saw it, but
Yeah, I saw her as she was hit the ground.
But like,
I make a joke. There's a little dent in the floor there, and I make a joke that's where that girl's face hit, because I mean she hit hard. Everybody was like, "Oh."
they were trying to find her tooth all over the place for like the next two songs.
To glow back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of funny little moments.
Yeah. What else is there? I can't remember, but it was that Halloween party we played at that Newark private party was wild.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was like 20 degrees, and yeah, that was a bad scene. I said to Scott, "Do not book us private events ever again." It was pretty
Do
weird.
not.
Well, it was like in this like compound, and then there was like a trailer that we got dressed in.
That one.
And they had like all their kids in there. So all the adults were outside, and they had all their kids in there. But when I walked in the trailer, like change into my costume, it was like naked women posters all over the walls. But then there's like 3 to like 7-year-olds all in there, and that's their like babysitting room with the naked Playboy posters all over. So that was pretty
God.
wild.
It was the Hills Have Eyes.
It was the Hills Have Eyes. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was on that guy that we.
Yeah, we might not. We can't tell any more stories.
There was a midget. I remember that.
Yeah.
The little
Was
person.
well, that was a stripper. It was a stripper, but that's what. Yeah.
Kyle kept going, "Go talk to her." I'm like, "No, what? No."
She opened for us, but that's what her moniker was. So she did open for us
cool.
for Radio Tramps. So
Yeah, we got out of there quick. 'Cause,
I said, I don't want to be here anymore, Scott.
well, I'm gonna tell it. The headlining person was rapping,
Ah, gosh.
and he was.
Saying some really not great
He
things.
seemed really nice when you talked to him, but she looks at me. She goes, "I think this guy's white supremacist." And I go, "Shut up."
I'm like, no, Chris, I'm serious.
And
We need to get out of here.
So we stood there for a second. And I listened to the words. I went, "Oh
We're out.
shit, we gotta go. We gotta go." And we were out of there that quick.
we did.
All right.
Yep.
Outta
We were
here.
like,
I
out.
mean, you know what?
Don't book that
The
no more.
worst, the best fight is the one that you avoid.
That was the craziest gig probably ever.
Yeah.
That was the one I felt the most uncomfortable, and
Oh,
I
that
feared
was
for my
bad.
life.
Wow. Well, you guys-
possibly.
it sounds like you made the right move.
And it was like 20 degrees, and we were in Halloween costumes and
It
freezing.
rained, and it was all muddy.
Oh yeah, and then it rained on top of that afterwards. Oh,
Yeah,
my
it was a
God.
nightmare.
It's terrible.
Thanks, Scott, for booking that.
Oh man, did you book any more of those private gig things? Private?
We did a couple. We did a wedding here and there.
Oh, the weddings. Oh, and how do the weddings go? That's you gotta, and you're doing weddings now.
Well, now I am, but I don't think Radio Tramps was a really wedding
It would depend on the couple, right?
Too many middle fingers for that.
Well, that couple had seen us before. That's why we
Yeah.
did that one.
Yeah, that's true.
But that was all right.
Yeah, so yeah, Radio Tramps had an attitude for sure. It was an attitude band. It was the '90s rebellious attitude kind of sort of thing. To me,
Well, yeah, maybe.
I mean, this one here, your peanut gallery participant. She was a character in that band.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Chris is all over there too, like all brooding and look cool.
You were doing your thing. That was what I was getting at. What was your thing, dude? What were you feeling in a Tramp show?
I don't know. I was just trying to keep my shit together. I didn't, I was.
But you looked cool doing it.
Hell yeah, dude! You're a rock star, man. There's no question about it.
Stop it. No, I was just trying to be there. I'm a player, so I just sat there and played my part.
Create the groove, right?
Yeah, whatever. It's all good.
Right on.
No, I think at the time when we were playing some of that stuff, playing it as we didn't play everything exactly, and we did do some pop stuff that we rocked up quite a bit, and I think that was important. That's what I liked about the band too, is we played everything as if we played.
You were playing it.
We wrote it. You know what I'm saying? I'm only going to play this way. This is the only way I can play it. I ain't Billy Sheehan. I ain't this, that, and the other. So, I just played it the only way I could play it. The way I kind of heard it. I didn't stray from like the structure or anything, and I think, Scott playing it a little bit heavier, keeping the groove, and with her voice on top of that, I think it was more aggressive, I guess, than most at the time.
I think that Radio Tramps also, all the members came from original bands.
Yeah.
And I think that, I know when I was, when they asked me to think about being in the band, I'm like, oh no, I'm an original band person. And then coming in there, I think we all kind of did that. And then we kind of brought that original mentality to the
Making it your own.
cover band thing. And I think we did. And there was times where I would like hear the song on the radio. I'm like, oh crap, I need to sing it a little. That's not how it goes. Shoot. So I think we kind of approached it in the beginning as like, let's do our own spin on this and let's put our own personality. And it really worked really well.
Yeah.
Was Eddie Money a part of it at the beginning?
Not at the very beginning, no.
How did Eddie Money become such a iconic? I don't know.
What kind of question is that?
Well, it's a question that, let me just back up. Like, what's Eddie Money to you?
I guess my thing with Eddie Money is, if you really watch the way he sings, especially in the earlier days, he makes weird faces, weird motions, movements, and they were
He's all in.
They were kind
isn't he?
of, they were kind of goofy,
Yeah.
and he
was tapping in somewhere.
Yeah. And it's like, that guy's kind of goofy, but yet he's writing killer songs. He's a good musician, and it's like, he's pumping out all these songs. You're like, you got to be kidding me. This guy's killing it. But he's kind of a big dork, Well, I'm a big dork. So that's my kind of connection to him. Like, I'm kind of dorky. I'm still dorky now. And so if he can do that, I can do it,
Right.
And I think that's what I like about him is he's kind of a goofy guy. He tells bad jokes and, weird sense of humor or whatever. But so I just thought I could relate to that. I wanted to be in a band because I didn't want to look like the goofy guy. So I wanted to be somebody else. That's the whole thing of for
Eddie
me.
Money.
For me. So yeah, that's kind of my why I like Eddie Money, and
I got to meet him.
and the songs are cool, and
The songs are cool. They are cool.
hey, go back and listen to a lot of that, not just the hits. You go back and listen to some of the other stuff. It's really good stuff, and I got a few people going, damn it, Chris.
You're right.
I'm telling you, go back and listen. That drummer's awesome. This bass player's awesome. I mean, the one guitar player he had for a long, long time, killer, does killer stuff. So yeah, I met Eddie Money. I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you heard her say that.
How did you? How and when?
She's got to tell this story because she called.
No.
You called Eddie Money?
No, I called it. No, we went to the casino. Well, Chris, you can tell it.
All right, so we go to the casino and see Eddie Money
in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah. And he was doing like a little meet and greet there off the side. You walk up and get an autograph or whatever.
Oh my God!
And somebody handed me the set list that was on the floor. So I'm like, well, I kind of want to get it signed, but I don't want to. There's so many people. I don't want to go up there. Well, then this one's up my butt. Going.
When you say this one, you're pointing to
Tiffany.
Tiffany.
She's next to me going, hey, the line's not that long now. Let's go. And I'm like, no, I don't know. I don't want to. I'm nervous. That's Eddie Money. That's my boy.
Right.
I don't want to. I can't do it. She goes, come on. She just kept pushing and pushing. I'm like, no. She's like, look, there's 3 people in line. We're going. I'm like, no, I can't do it. So she drags me over there and she goes, I'm going to tell him that we're in a band and you sing his songs. And I go, no, do not tell that man that I sing his songs, because he don't need to know that.
Copyright infringement's going through your head, all the risk management, lawyer fees.
How many people probably say, yeah, man, we play your songs, and he don't give it crap, I'm like, don't be that. I don't want to be that guy, I'm a big fan. I sing all your songs.
She knows, though. She knows it's important.
So, of course, we get up there, and she's in front of me, so she meets him first, and I'm like, don't say anything about being in a band and singing this song. Don't do it. Okay, I won't do it. So she goes through. I go up and I get him. I say, hey, can you sign the set list? And he signs it and shakes my hand.
He signs his set list.
He signs his set list for me, which is framed in my house. And he goes, so how's the band going? And I was like, so
he says it to you?
I said it.
Because she told him. I said, don't tell him. She told him.
I did.
Right.
How's the band going? I'm like, son of a...
Yeah, but he also called me pretty,
there
remember?
It is.
And then he did a little kissy face at me, and you were jealous.
That's the whole point of the story, is for her to say that he called me pretty.
And then you had me take your picture, and I am a photographer, and the picture was blurry.
The worst picture ever.
I know.
Are you kidding?
It's so bad. I feel so bad about that.
Yeah.
But you have a picture. And you have a signed set list.
Signed set list, yeah.
And we got signed T-shirts and all that.
How awesome is she to take you to that event?
Well, I didn't take him to the event. I just forced him to go up and say hi to Eddie Money.
She might be, tiny and all. She's a bully.
So. Oh, dude.
So she
brutal.
Pushed
How are you here now, Chris?
Brutal.
Exactly. And,
brutal.
Yes, I wouldn't have met him if she wouldn't have pushed, but,
Sometimes you need a little push.
I guess, whatever.
Nothing wrong with that.
So,
Yeah.
That was a fun night.
Sounds like it.
It was all right.
Partying with Eddie Money. There's a colleague of mine from days gone by, not the band, but the cover band, but from my day job type stuff, who ran into Eddie Money at an airport, hung out with him, had a beer, talked to him about, it's just like the best freaking break in the airport with Eddie Money. You got a little snap, a little flip phone snap from probably around the same 20, But it seems like, you hear stories about Eddie Money, and he's just a regular dude that just really had a freaking awesome existence.
Yep.
Did what he loved, and he did it with passion, and he did it with high quality, right? And he's obviously affected your life.
Sure, yeah. I like when we do on Rock Paper Scissors. I got Jay listening to Eddie Money now, and he's one of the ones who are like, man, because I listen to all this older stuff now, and it's so good. And I like, yeah. And I think we did Shakin'. It was at Black Swan we played, and the crowd loved it. And I just looked at him and went, there you go, buddy. Eddie Money. You can't go wrong with Eddie Money.
You can never go wrong with Eddie Money.
Yeah. We did a rock block. We used to do 4 or 5.
Yeah, we would do
in a row.
My favorite, Baby, Hold On to Me.
Oh, my God.
And 2 Tickets.
2 Tickets to Paradise. So I learned that song on bass recently just because when I practice, I'll do the material that I'm currently working with a cover band, but then I'll veer off and go into the classic rock stuff that I always want to learn. There's a lot of Eddie Money on that list. And 2 Tickets to Paradise is a pretty simple song, but Do you do the gallop? Like, what's your move on the gallop, dude? Like, that song is a driving force.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about.
Yeah.
We said let's save it for the podcast, but
Yeah.
you know that bass line is really fun.
Yeah,
It's simple, but it's really. You could do a lot of. There's room to do
there's room.
stuff.
Yeah, there's room to do a lot of stuff in that. But I don't really. I do the gallop all the way through. I don't do the hit the octaves or do any little. If there's a space, I'll do a little something just because it's there. But for the most part, I'm just
grinding the A.
Yeah, just yeah. I mean,
Bouncing the string.
Got to keep it moving.
Oh,
keep
yeah.
it rolling.
Because that song and like the solo part is just like I just feel I actually start standing up at that point.
Oh yeah,
It's
see,
like getting into it because it's
Eddie
like
Money.
wow.
It's the power of the money man.
Yeah, he really yeah, I can see this now. This is a lot of fun talking to you face to face about Eddie Money because I can see the energy just fill your face. He almost resembles Eddie Money.
Oh, see
this
what-
guy.
Yeah.
Talking about Eddie Money, he's got that grin. It's
Yeah.
the grin.
that why isn't Eddie Money in the Hall of Fame
Right.
page you started?
Okay, so let's go there.
Yeah.
What's up? You know, is that a website that you started for Eddie Money?
No. That was already on Facebook for.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, it was. That
Oh,
wasn't me.
Really? Oh.
That
All right.
was,
Wow.
that was on there. I found it.
So
and
you
I go,
found it.
I found it. And I go, yeah. And then I had those shirts made up that said, "Why isn't Eddie Money in the Hall of Fame?"
I mean, why isn't he?
And I went there with the shirt on, took pictures in front of the place. It's like, yeah, put them on the page, and I had I had my girls vote for him for the Hall of
Right.
Fame in that little section you can vote for whatever. And I took pictures of it just to prove that they actually did it. But no, I didn't start the page, but I'm part of it, I guess.
Sure.
So, yeah.
We actually played the day that Eddie Money died, I
it was-
believe,
it was
and
rough.
you were like, I was so worried about you. And
Was that at
you
Turtle
did a good.
Creek?
I
No,
can't.
it was in Marysville.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it Benny's?
Benny's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was worried about you, and you did it, but I knew we weren't going to do the Eddie Money block. We did, and we did it well, but
Yeah.
you were
I made it. I
emotional.
made it to the end. It was funny, not funny, but the day that he died, I started getting texts and stuff first thing in the morning
Yeah.
because people were worried about me.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody, and I know who it was, but somebody had texted me and said, "Sorry to hear about Eddie," and I just woke up and I didn't have my glasses on yet, and it looked like Edie, which is my child. So sorry to hear about Edie is what I saw, and I said, "Oh, what the fuck?" So I panicked, thinking something happened to my kid, but it was Eddie Money. And I had people texting me and reaching out, people I didn't even know. We're like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Well, I wasn't, I'm not related to the guy, but
It's a big deal.
I became the Eddie Money guy because of that, So everybody knew that I'd be upset about it. And we played that gig, and we got through it. And at the very end,
You did get emotional.
I got a little bit at the very end. The clouds opened up, full moon. It
Good.
was at the end, and I got through it. But yeah, it was rough.
We
But
did that. The one, the Take Me Home
Yeah,
Tonight.
Take Me
Yeah.
Home.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite one. Yeah, that was a good block.
Yeah,
Oh, the Eddie Money block.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun. I got, for a while, I was like, I don't think anybody wants to hear all this anymore because we do it all the time. And it does take up a lot of time to do 480 Money songs.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, screw
It's
it,
expected, mister.
I'm going to do it.
No,
there.
but then they were chanting Eddie Money in our shows, and we weren't doing it. They would chant that.
Yeah. They were just trying to shut you down.
Oh yeah, I don't sing any lead on the Eddie Money song, so they were probably like, "Oh God, we're so sick of her belting it out." God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good times.
Yeah, it's fun.
Very good times.
Still doing Eddie Money. So
Good.
I'm going to continue to do it. It's a
As
requirement.
you should.
No matter what I do. I was actually approached about doing a Eddie Money tribute band, but I didn't think I ain't gonna do it. Maybe someday. I don't know.
You
But
could.
I don't know. We'll see.
I think you should explore that.
I think if I do it, I don't want to play bass and sing. I think I want to
Just be a front man.
yeah, just do the front man part of that. I think. There's a lot going on in some of that bass stuff. I don't know if I can do it and sing it at the same time.
There's a lot going on with a lot of
So-
those, but a lot of them are simple though. Like
They
Two Tickets
are.
to Paradise.
Well, yeah.
Jeez.
But there's some stuff that I,
3-chord winner.
yeah. But there's some stuff I'd be like, I don't know, maybe if I focused more on just the vocal part of it. But then I'm not very in my head. I don't know if I could do it.
You could do it.
Just fronting it. So, but
You could do
I don't
it.
know. Maybe someday. I don't know. We'll
You
see.
could do it.
Nah.
You could.
100% totally.
Okay.
Yep. There's no reason not to.
I believe in
listen,
you,
man,
Christopher Lee Mills.
You
Oh my
probably
God.
you have a lot of folks would want to work with you. I think if you want to do an Eddie Money tribute, you should
Maybe.
Throw it out there.
I might. throw
There's
it out there.
resources.
Huh?
There's resources to
Yeah,
find
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'm sure I can get a couple people to do it. We'll see. I don't know. See how I feel down the road.
Yeah, man.
And I'm always looking to do some stuff too, so, maybe it'll come up at some point.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, anything else you guys want to talk about with Tramps, Radio Tramps? I mean, it was a good long 10-year. You guys had a lot of great gigs and
Actually, I think we
great
are going to do
two-story.
a
You're gonna do
reunion show. We're working on it.
good.
Maybe.
I'm not going to announce
Maybe.
it.
I don't know, maybe.
You don't want to work with me anymore?
I didn't say that.
But we are working on something for maybe fall of this year, doing like a one-time only. I mean, we love playing with Scott, and we love playing with those guys. So, and Chris and I are still super close. So, it's eventually going to happen. And we do have something set up for the fall. We're not going to announce it now because it's not like, oh, you can. I forget when it is actually. But
I don't remember.
you don't? I think it's November.
November,
But
yeah.
yeah. But it's
That's
at Turtle
cool.
Creek. But I
Oh,
think
that's
November
awesome.
22nd at Turtle Creek, if I'm remembering right. But
I should be in town. That'll definitely be on my list. I mean, not that it's a big deal that I'm here, but I mean, I think a lot of people want to see you guys do that.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm doing the Martini Fair, and Chris is doing his bunch of projects. So, and Scott's got a ton of stuff he's doing too. So, and Ben Kemp, the last drummer of Radio Tramps, he's in Cami Nix in the Shade, so he does stuff too. So it'll be fun to.
That's a
for
fun
us to all
band.
come
Have you
together.
seen that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cammy's cool.
We're still really good friends with those guys, so that'll be something fun to do in November, and we'll do that Eddie Money block. We might even add some more Eddie Money, Chris. What do you say?
I don't know. We'll see.
What do you say?
Do a whole set.
Do the whole
We'll
do a
just-
block.
Do a whole set of it.
Do a
Eddie
block
Money?
of of whatever you want.
Yeah, maybe.
That's cool.
I don't know.
Chris, when is your next show?
This Friday.
This Friday?
This Friday at 10 Mile Inn.
Okay. Which band?
That's Black Rebel Revival. Depending on the weather. If it rains, we're not going to play. It's outside.
Beth has a gig up at Lake Erie, Geneva on the Lake, and we're going to spend the weekend up there, or else I'd be at that show,
Yeah,
dude.
well-
I've been wanting to see this band.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any video or anything, but I love the cast of characters there.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
it's a fun band. And then the other one, Brohio, is we're playing June 28th.
Yeah.
Can I look at my phone? Don't mess up anything. At the Dolphin Lounge,
Oh, can't wait.
and yeah, the 28th.
I love the
June 28th.
Dolphin Lounge, dude. I'm a huge
I'll tell you what,
Lori Dolphin fan,
I-
and I am a Dolphin Lounge fan.
I haven't been in there in so long, and went in there and played with Keith Jenkins from Ohio, and he was doing some solo stuff and solo gigs. So I went and played with him, and I hadn't been there in 15 years, 20 years, something like that. And it smells the same.
Well, it
Everything's the
smells
same.
similar, but during COVID, they gutted a
Yeah, I
lot,
noticed,
and
yeah.
she really invested in
Yeah.
a lot. And
But it still has that vibe, though. You know what I'm saying? It's like you go
it's
in,
old school
it's
city.
the same
yeah,
bar,
so
the same
cool.
setup, the same. I was just like, man, this is like a time warp. But
Like a sunken living room
I
type
love
of
it.
feel. Yeah.
was
It
fun,
is
yeah.
a sunken living room.
Mm-hmm.
But
No,
yeah,
it's a cool place.
It was fun to play there again because I hadn't been there in so long. But yeah, it was good. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
so June 28th.
Of 2025.
So yeah, be good.
Yes, it will. Yeah, I mean,
Well, maybe. I don't know.
who do you guys all like put the word out when the gig's coming up? Like Sunday night, you're sitting there and you're like, oh, next weekend, better put some word out.
I don't. It tends to
Keep
be.
an eye out.
Yeah, it tends to be. I promote it a good week or so. I don't want to over saturate
don't wanna get
everyone's
you-
Facebook pages with
Right on.
But I know
We have a couple bands
Like
that do
I
that. Look, there's a couple bands that do that.
Oh yeah. well, our rock paper scissors. Jay will do that every day for 2 weeks until that gig comes up, and it's cool.
2
but
weeks isn't. so spammy.
But yeah, but it's a lot.
It
He
can't
knows
be.
it's a lot, so I'm not saying anything out of turn or whatever. But
No.
yeah, and Jason promotes all the Black Rebel stuff, so he's doing all the little events and the flyers and all that stuff. So he's really pushing that gig.
Black.
too, so.
What's the name of it? Black Rebel
Revival?
Revival.
Yeah, that was a band me and the guitar player Alan Kennedy started a couple years back. I was wanting to fill some time up, and we had played in the early '90s together in a band called Slap Silly. And when I left, I was a drummer then. When I left, Jason Levitt took my place. So talk about the rotating positions, and
Yeah.
it was like Spinal Tap. I think
That's fun.
we counted like 23 people through that band at one point. But and then when he left, I went back. But so at one point we all three played in a band together, just at different times and different whatever. So
That's pretty cool.
so it's fun.
It's cool to
old
keep
friends and
and keep good mojo amongst the partings, right? I mean, I think that's important. So many times it gets real personal, and that's unfortunate. It really is, because it's like it's the whole amoeba analogy, you know, like certain amoebas kind of end up going a different direction. I mean, if you're a odd person out, you should be okay with that.
No hurties.
No ouchies.
Ouchies, that's what it was. No
but
ouchies.
that's probably an ouchie on your side too, and not just them, right? Like, it's just, it's okay to acknowledge that it didn't work out, right? Like, and hug each other when you part. Like, damn it, like it's easier said than done. It is.
Yeah, back in the day, definitely back in the day. But as I know for me, as I've gotten older, I'm not as quick to I'd be pissed off about something. I'd quit. I'm done. Screw you guys. I've done it. But nowadays I don't want to leave things like that. I don't want to be. I'm not that person anymore. I think having the kids and going through all that stuff, and it's
Good for you,
kind
man.
of brought me down a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm still
I know,
grumpy
man.
old man.
No
I
comment.
think back, especially in music, and think about trying to get work in cover bands and whatnot, and then I'm sure that I screwed up partings more than anything. Screwed them up, like just completely insensitive. And those are my regrets. But to your point, like, I think the older you get, the more you realize it's like, man, love is all that really matters.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, nothing else. Like, okay, so there's an ouchie, big deal. Like, move on. Like, go find some other amoebas that are happy people that align to what you got going on. It's an okay thing.
Yeah. I remember at one point going back and talking to some people that, kind of not burned the bridge, but just kind of.
It was not a good party,
wasn't
right?
Good.
Yeah.
When the band I was in Cincinnati, it was called Cherry Bang, and we were still doing the glam rock back then, and that was. But me and the singer, speaking of singers, I don't get along with. We're good now. His name's Billy Carey, and we kind of butted heads in the band because we both we know where we wanted to go with it, but we both had different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
So we were butting heads.
Different.
And it was like, for the good of the band, we both wanted something good, and we were on that label we were on, and he got into it. Singers, he had got into it. The head of the label, right? And basically somebody else we knew was fronted money to record their CD, but we didn't. So we had to hustle a little bit to make money, and then we would record and then get reimbursed from the label. And because the guy from the label gave our buddies an advance, my singer got mad and said, well, screw that guy. We'll do it without him. We don't need his money. We don't need his label. Well, somehow that got back to him, to the label, and he calls me and goes, Billy says, screw me, screw my label. And I go, no. So I had to...
Clarification.
I had to, it was taken...
Clarification's good.
Yeah, I was like, no, he just meant, just screw it. You're taking it out of context, whatever. So I had to kind of fix that whole situation, then put the CD out, and then they dropped us, like, immediately. And then I think that was kind of the beginning to end for me in that band. And but going back, they're saying I went back and we've talked it through and said, we both wanted the same things, we just did it differently. We didn't see eye to eye, even though the main goal was this. We just didn't get there, and it kind of fell all apart or whatever. But I mean, we're good friends now. We're all good. So I've done some acoustic gigs with them down in Cincinnati.
Maybe it took you singing to actually get along with singers,
Right.
since you had a history of not.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But the point is go back and kind of revisit that and go, hey, that sucked, and it's too bad it happened that way. But again, things happen for a reason.
Right on.
So either this was not supposed to happen for either one of us. And
At that time.
And it led you this way, and I went this way, and I'm fine with that. I'm good with that.
Right on.
And I don't get along with singers too well, and I think
Except for me.
I'm telling you, she's probably the only one I've gotten along with. And
Why is that?
I don't know.
Because we hate all the same things.
Maybe.
Oh, you mean with music
No,
or
I'm
in
just
general?
No, she's not kidding.
I don't know. We kind of get each other in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like,
What-
we like kitschy stuff, and we're both kind of weirdos, and I don't know. We have like a special language. We kind of understand each other.
It's hard to explain, but
Yeah.
it's all good. But I think me singing was more after Radio Tramps, trying to figure out what I was going to do after that. And I, was singing more Radio Tramps, but I kind of was like, well, since I don't get along with singers, maybe I'll just have to do it myself, And I don't claim to be a singer.
He hates it when I say this. Everyone out there, all the musicians, he is an excellent singer. I mean,
He's a damn good singer.
Is so good at it, and
Yeah.
I love singing with him so much.
Remember when we started this, you said you weren't going to talk?
Oh yeah. True.
We're just saying.
Bye guys. Bye.
Chris Mills is a multi-talented musician, right? I mean, he just is. It's a fact. He's got a good track record, and
It's all good.
he's a work in progress, like all of us, right?
Yeah. And
You keep pushing on.
yeah, that's all you can do. I mean, and nowadays it's just, again, like you said, having fun.
Yeah, man.
Just have fun with it and not get caught up in all the drama. It's not the same as we was when we were 20. Now, much older, we can be better. So I'm just trying to be better.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Right on.
So it's all good.
What are the things that you like about performing live, and then the things that you guys like that you were saying you don't like the same things? What are the things you like, and what are the things you don't like?
Oh, we're not going to talk about that.
You don't want to talk about that? Well, then we won't talk about it. We won't talk
know.
about it. What are the things you like? What are the things you like? What is it when you're like? What keeps you coming back with the same people? Like, what are those good amoeba qualities?
Well, like I said, with Radio Tramps was good because we all genuinely liked each other.
Right.
That's
it.
I mean, it's got to be what it is, because if there's one person that you're just not quite
Ain't gonna
getting
work.
it,
Ain't gonna work.
you're always gonna have something in the back of your head like,
You're not gonna want to hang.
that guy's a jerk. I mean,
We've all been in bands with that.
yeah. And nowadays I like everybody I play with. I don't want to have any more problems. I don't want to be the hateful guy. I know I look grumpy and everything, but I don't want to be that anymore. I don't want to live like that. So
Yeah, we don't have time for that anymore.
no.
Nobody has time for that.
No
Life's
ouchies.
That's too short for an ouchie. I'm telling you.
Life's too short.
And you
for
wait,
ouchies.
you guys. One day you'll be as old as I am, and you're gonna be like, he was fucking right. It ain't worth it. It's not worth the ouchies. It's not. Just move on. Just go. Just do something different.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't,
Or whatever.
it is what it is. If you're not happy with this or that, then change it. And it's nothing wrong with that. You know, just part of life.
That it is.
Waiting for an old joke from you.
I'm not. I
bring it
thought
on.
one. I
Bring it
thought
on.
one, but I cut it off. I'm getting up there too, guys.
Oh, bring it on.
No,
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 you
no,
are.
no, I'm
You
good.
are
Listen to her.
not. It's funny to hear you say that. It's hilarious.
29.
20.
Jeez.
Eddie Money tribute. Who's in?
I'm in.
Be my little baby.
There you go.
Anybody else?
I'll learn more bass lines if you need it. You know,
right.
but there's a bunch more dudes that probably, you know. I don't mean to like shoot myself now. I won't even play 10 months, man. Like I'm like Pilgrim.
It's all good.
But it's always good, you know. You gotta keep going. Just late start at 62. But I'm having fun. That's
It's
all.
never
right
too
there.
late. Come on.
That's my point, man.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Sing, man. Front a band. Put a black suit jacket on
See, that's what I want to do. I want to wear the
with a
jacket.
pair of
Mm-hmm.
jeans,
Yep.
and be a rock star, man. That you are.
Some of those tennis
Yeah,
shoes.
hell yeah.
I can play saxophone. It's like Eddie Money did. So, there you go.
You got this.
Got
Dude,
it.
you got this, man. You totally got this.
No ouchies in that.
No.
God, I got to hear this ouchie thing for months now.
I love it.
It all boils down to love is all that there really matters. It's all that matters.
Yeah.
You know, stay away from the ouchies.
Yep. I agree.
I mean, there's going to be ouchies in your day, but
Sure.
when it's a constant, it's like, oh man, what's up?
Yeah,
Yes, sir. You said you were nervous. You weren't going to have anything. You've been at it almost an hour and a half.
Yeah.
An hour and a half.
Oh, no. We're over.
We talked at dinner. We're like,
Dude, what else?
keep it an hour. Keep it an hour.
Yeah, I'm like, is there a time limit? Like, I don't want to
No,
go.
there's
I don't wanna
not.
go- I don't wanna
There
go
used to
over.
be. There used to be technological limitations that I have overcome
Great.
with better tools as I've moved along the timeline. It'll be good stuff, man. It'd be you know, this episode really, honestly, you know, like any other episode, it truly is a cool experience, not just for you know, people to listen to, you know, the stories and the personality behind what we see on the weekends at these shows, right? It's there's a real human behind Chris Mills and anybody else that's done a podcast episode, you know, and everybody's so cool. You're a cool dude, man.
Yeah.
You got a lot, like, you know, got a lot going on, and there'll be more in the future.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
This
Yep.
is-
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Stop
Yep.
it.
Yep.
it's all good.
Good, man. Nah, I appreciate-
Realize your dream. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, sure. No, this has been fun. Yeah, I was, like I said, I was nervous, anxious, didn't eat all day.
You ate mozzarella sticks.
man.
instead.
Yeah, those
That's cool.
they weren't that good.
Chris loves mozzarella sticks as much as he loves Eddie Money. And Miller Lite.
I do like Miller Lite.
Oh, you do like Miller
I
Lite.
do. It's so good.
It's a coincidence.
Or is it?
The world may never know.
It just, you know, it was supposed to be here. Jeez.
All right, big show coming up this weekend.
Yep.
June
June Friday,
Six.
6th.
June 6, 2025.
Yep. At 10 Mile Inn.
10 Mile
And
In.
that's Black Rebel Revival. And then June 28th, Dolphin Lounge with Bro Hi Ho.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
I hope we're ready.
Oh, you'll be ready.
Yeah, we'll be ready. I'm a
You'll be
pro.
ready.
I'm a pro.
Built-in sound.
I got it.
Who's going to run the sound there when you're at the Dolphin? Do you know? Have you picked that person, or do
They
you
got-
hire them?
Well, whoever that guy is that
I gotcha.
There's
That does the
there's a guy
knob
there.
twisting?
I don't even think I think they just run vocals through that system.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you need. It's not your front of house.
But he's always
basically.
like, hey, you turn down, you turn down. I'm like, no, turn it up.
Big bass. I like big bass too. I don't want to be too loud, but you gotta feel it.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, I took my whole big giant rig out to El Dorado's when we played, and they're like, you could have played with like half of that. And I go, no, bring it all.
Master volume
Bring
knob
it
is there
all.
for a reason.
Yeah, bring it all. Sit right next to me.
Mr.
Crank it
Jones,
up.
is he mixing sound that night? He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I think
He
so.
knows what he's
Yeah.
doing. He's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
There's an urban legend that Mr. Jones of El Dorados and El Rosavella fame and fortune and all that spent a weekend with David Byrne of Talking Heads
yeah.
in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
And that's where the song from the Talking Heads, Mr. Jones, came from.
Really?
Was that whole weekend they spent together.
No kidding.
Really?
If you listen to the lyrics, it's a possibility. I asked permission if I could talk about that. It's funny that it all came up. It's kind of weird, but he said it could be urban legend, but I think it's true.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really kind of a cool little tidbit of local trivia. You know, it's pretty awesome. But anyway, I like that you play big bass.
Yeah.
Just wanted to let you know that I'm digging all that about you.
Cool, man.
What else you got, mister?
I don't know. I'm spent.
Episode 114, Chris Mills.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate you making
I
the time.
appreciate you having me.
I do.
It was fun, even though I was scared. So,
How do you feel
it's
now,
good.
though? You feel good?
No. Wait until I hear it back. I'll let you know.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Episode 114. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.